Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Monday, June 12, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. PPPC confident of making inroads in Georgetown. Smooth process in Linden as youths elderly brave weather to cast ballots. Duo wanted for murder of GDF lieutenant. Sod turned for UAE-funded 100 million special needs school at Crane. 2 BERBICE men stabbed to death in separate incidents, and soldier shot dead by colleague during row at GDF base in TIMEHRI. Now for the news in detail. Guyanese on Monday turned up at their respective polling stations countrywide to cast their ballots in this year's local government elections. Several of our reporters and cameramen have been following the proceedings since polls opened at 6 hours. Let's start this evening's newscast by telling you that the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic is confident that the party will make significant inroads within the Georgetown municipality, which is traditionally controlled by the PNC-led Partnership for National Unity opposition. Vanu Manikchand reports.
Despite a low voter turnout, the ruling PPPC is convinced that the party will make a major dent in the opposition-controlled Georgetown Town Council. President Dr. Irfan Ali, after casting his ballot at Lenora, West Coast of Demerara, along with First Lady Arya Ali, expressed confidence in the candidates that the party has fielded, including those who have crossed over from the APNU.
We are very convinced that our strategy of governing for people, governing in the welfare of people, ensuring, and the people of Georgetown and all over the country, they don't have to be, all right, how y'all doing? They don't have to be fearful about anything. They don't have to worry about anything, because the PPP Civic is not about taking over community or increasing taxes. We have removed taxes since we came back into government. We are working in the interests of people for their development in their communities. That is it. Our only plan for Georgetown and any other area in this country is to advance development, advance the welfare of people, improve the lives of people, improve communities, and importantly, to strengthen local leadership. If you look at all the persons who are candidates, look at Georgetown and all the other areas, what you see? You see a reflection of Diana. You see experience, you see a number of young people.
In addition, opposition leader Aubrey Norton voted at the Pleasance Health Center, East Coast Demerara, after which he also spoke with members of the media. According to Norton, he is more than confident in his party, saying that they did the groundwork to garner the needed support.
We did the required groundwork in this constituency. I think we have a good candidate and people will support the candidate. And so I am 99.9% convinced that we will win the constituency.
What about Georgetown?
The same. I think we have done the work in Georgetown. I don't even see them having a chance of winning Georgetown. If you followed me from the beginning, I said we will focus on maintaining our strongholds. At no stage did I say we will run in all the constituencies. We concentrated our resources in the areas we think we had to work hard and ensure we maintain. We also focus in some areas where we thought we can improve our position. For us, this is a trial run for the regional and general elections, but we thought we need to expend our resources strategically.
In response, however, PPP General Secretary Dr. Bart Jagdeo called out Norton over his statements after casting his ballot at the St. Paul's Primary School in Pleasance.
I heard Norton making excuses this morning. Oh, they had to I never said we contested in all of the areas around the country. He's lying. He said virtually all of the areas he's contesting in when asked just after nomination day. And then the holder repeated this a week after. They're walking back from that comment. I know Norton is fearful. We're not an arrogant party. It's a huge task to win in an area that is overwhelmingly supportive of APNU historically. But everyone would recognize in this country that we have waged a good battle. And that's what it's about, a challenge. And we still expect a good result. They started off by saying we're paying people to wear the red T-shirt. But you've seen the enthusiasm. You've seen the spontaneous support for the People's Progressive Party. You've seen people stood up and explain why. Because they don't trust APNU anymore because of the broken promises. The fact is that we don't plan to raise rates and taxes in any area across the country controlled by the People's Progressive Party administration or council. I'm not making predictions. It's up to the voters. We ran a campaign, but one thing we have already proven to this country, clearly, that the only national party, the only multiracial party in this country today is the People's Progressive Party. We have already made that point, proven it tangibly.
The last local government election was held in November 2018, where the PPPC secured a landslide victory over the then APNU-AFC government. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
We are now joined by Rupasina Ryan, who focused on the voting process in Georgetown, where she caught up with a few residents who were willing to go on camera.
At the stroke of 6 hours, officials from the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, opened the polling stations across the capital city and its outskirts. Thereon, eligible voters trickled in to cast their ballots, many of whom indicated to the Evening News that it was a smooth process. In showing up to vote, citizens shared that they would like to see improvements in their communities, albeit with better roads, drainage, infrastructure, or better leadership. Candidates were also on the ground, encouraging persons to vote.
It's pretty slow so far, which is expected. You know, in these elections, local government election, that's, norm, and especially the fact that it's a working day also. So far it's kind of slow. People are trickling, but it's going well so far, I must say.
The road and bridge need rails, because that bridge down there, Danra Street, they built bridge 2 years now and can't build rails. No rails.
We need to work in a hand-and-glove arrangement to be able to make things possible and for the betterment of the citizenry at the end of the day.
Presently, of the 40 seats of the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, only 24 are currently occupied, 18 from APNU and 6 from the PPPC. The last local government elections was held in 2018 and Pandit Yubraj Narain was elected as Mayor of Georgetown. However, this time around, the governing People's Progressive Party has been campaigning aggressively in the capital city in a bid to turn around these numbers. Rupasina Ryan, The Evening News.
Our BERBICE correspondent Andrew Carmichael was in New Amsterdam and reported that despite a slow start to LGE 2023 and some hiccups, voting picked up during the course of the day.
With only about 12% of the eligible voters casting their ballots within the first 3 hours of the opening of poll, this figure jumped to about 25% by 14 hours. A total of 14,154 voters are registered to vote in the municipality. While the regional coordinator of a Partnership for National Unity, Kirk Fraser, stated that the process went smoothly, Zamal Hussein of the People's Progressive Party Civic highlighted some concerns at Rhodes Hall Town and Kildonan.
This morning I came out to cast my vote and the process is one that is smooth. There isn't any hiccup at this time and I trust that it remains like this throughout the remaining of the day.
What do you think about the voter turnout at this point in time of the day?
Well, we expect this to get greater as the day goes by. One, I know that we would expect a high voter turnout at these polls in 2023 for this local government elections.
As a candidate, do you have any concerns that there was an issue with one of the ballot boxes?
Some amount of damage to one of them?
This morning when we were at GECOM, when the boxes were moving to the various area, we learned of a box that was damaged on the upper quarantine. We don't have a problem with that. We believe in the ballots being secured, and as a result of that, we support the initiative to remove a box from New Amsterdam and replace that in the upper quarantine.
The only concern we have is that there are certain areas like Kildonan and Rosal where some APNU candidates apparently seems to go disrupting our persons walking on the roadside. That is the right of the party to ensure that we have people manning the tents and ensuring people come out to vote. But we are within the limits in the specified by the law stating 200 meters or 200 feet away from the polling station.
However, Regional Commander Senior Superintendent Chief Prasad Bacchus confirmed that Rose Hall Town Mayor Dave Boodoo had reported that he was threatened by Godwin Alicock and that the matter is currently under investigation. Is the party satisfied with the way GCOM handled the broken ballot box?
Yeah, we are satisfied. I think the GCOM did a good job and the ballot box was replaced in a short time, and all the process was in order. I spoke with the RO in that area, and everything was okay.
This morning we started the process at about 3 o'clock. We are, myself as the election agent for New Amsterdam, as well as the deputy agent, and some of the other comrades were there to see the container open and make sure that all the ballot boxes were intact. So they started the dispatch at around just after 3 this morning, starting from the two extremities, which is Firish and Platanka. So buses were arranged, police security escort were arranged, and policemen were also sent along with the boxes to ensure that they were placed to the various polling stations. So by 5 o'clock this morning, all the polling stations would have been opened, and all of them would have received their ballot boxes, as well as their folios, as well as a list of voters and so that are inside of the box. Those things, we made sure that those things were inside the box.
We also caught up with independent candidate Kenroy Henry and PPPC candidate Juanita Burrows.
I'm contesting constituency 5, that's spanning from 43 Stanley Town to Pope Street. So far the process has been slow, but no concern. Everything is going smooth so far. Checking in with the POs, everything is smooth so far.
What has been the voter turnout in your constituency?
Well, so far at 36 Stanley Town, a bit more persons, have come out so far. And at the Homex Center, it's a bit slow, but 36 is doing a bit better than Highbridge here. So I'm hoping that it picks up as the day progresses.
It's very exciting. It's excellent, can't complain.
And were there any lines?
No lines. The process is pretty fast and we must appreciate that.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
Jarl Bryan, who was in the mining town of Linden, reports that despite the rainy conditions and barring a few hiccups, persons of all ages came out to vote in their respective constituencies.
In Constituency 1, Bamia Amelia's ward, voting kicked off at 600 hours sharp on the inclement weather. The rain put a damper on early voting, but one of the candidates who braved the rains was former AFC Member of Parliament Odwin Rutherford. According to Rutherford, who is now a candidate on the PPP slate, the voting process was relatively smooth, and as the day progresses, more voters are expected to come out.
I do expect a smooth process. We would have started on time, all the different polling stations here. And I know that we are prepared, we really prepared, and I'm optimistic. I have already cast my vote, and one of many to come, and therefore I'm assured that we will do well today.
Meanwhile, APNU's candidate and former regional chairman Sharma Solomon also cast his ballot at the Linden Foundation Secondary.
I was here quite early. I was here before polls opened, and I am satisfied. We got our agents here on time. We verified the process before it got started, and so far as it relates to voting, I am encouraged by the persons and the turnout that we are seeing this morning. We are encountering a few issues such as persons not finding their names on the list, and in fact persons have been told to check at other locations. So we're trying to ensure those matters are dealt with as we speak. But I think all in all, notwithstanding the weather, it's very encouraging to see people still coming out for local government elections. I hope that before the day is out, as we are seeing this morning, notwithstanding the weather, people continue to come out and exercise their franchise and to ensure that they participate in this process.
Dwayne Charles, a first-time PPP candidate who is also contesting in Constituency 1, related that the voting process was a smooth one.
We're going to get a large turnout. Persons of Amelia's ward in particular are very excited to come on board and vote for many reasons. They're going to vote today for many reasons, so we're going to get a large turnout. We would have seen earlier, persons came out very early this morning at Amelia's ward primary school. Now we're here at Tello Secondary, and we can see the turnout so far. So I'm expecting a better turnout probably after 8 when persons wake up and get set. But so far so good. I am pleased about the turnout so far.
AppNews Member of Parliament Jermaine Figueroa, who voted in Wismar, opined that voter turnout appears to have been improved from the last time, which was in 2018. He also lauded the Guyanese Elections Commission for the job they have done so far.
The turnout was good so far. I understand the history with regards to local government is that has never garnered the amount of turnout rate like regional and national elections. But from our estimation, we have seen some level of improvement. The people of Linden is taking this election very seriously. With regards to where I voted and the role GCOM is playing, I think they're doing a very favorable job at the moment. My polling station didn't experience any issue so far, but I was told that the polling station in the Mills ward, some of the residents haven't noticed their names on the list, and there's difficulty in finding the names of those candidates, which is very much concerning for us at this late juncture.
A diverse range of voters also turned out to cast their ballots. While some locations, such as Mill Street Nursery School in Constituency 5, saw only a handful of voters, polling places closest to the main road were the busiest. This includes Harmony Secondary School in Constituency 6, situated on Burnham Drive, which saw a steady stream of voters. There were even families who came out to vote, such as the Samuels family of Constituency 6, Dalawala, Christianburg. At Wismar Hill Primary School, the elderly and the youth also voted. They included 21-year-old first-time voter Antonio Durant. Also casting his vote was 84-year-old Arnold Archer. Both related that the voting process was a smooth one. Checks with the Guyanese Elections Commission itself have revealed that processes have gone generally smoothly in Linden. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Coming up, soldier shot dead by colleague during row at GDF base in TIMEHRI, and 2 BERBICE men stabbed to death in separate incidents. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Look out! The Oreos belong to us.
No, they belong to whoever finds them first.
Get your Oreo Transformers Limited Edition and awaken the beast.
Sally's Boutique is the place to shop when looking for quality high-end men and women footwear, wristwear, wallets, and clothing. Follow us on Instagram, Sally's Boutique GY. We're located at Charlotte Street between Camp and Wellington Streets. Contact us on 231-7519. That's 231-7519. WhatsApp 613-9578. That's 613-9578. Sally's Boutique, the new home of Clarks.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
On the job, you know how it goes. 1 minute everything's going right and the next something goes wrong. Don't worry, Premier Insurance will make things right again. For all risk insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Well, Mr. Smart, election in the air again, buddy. What a while on earth we can hear stories about dead people and overseas people voting again.
Well, Sunil, I can't say if you will hear that, but I know you can't cheat in voting at elections.
Why you say that?
Because if you try to cheat, you will be caught. And when you're caught, you will be prosecuted. And if found guilty, you will go to jail or pay a fine or both.
So how they gonna catch me if I try to cheat?
How? GCOM has several measures in place to identify if anyone attempts to cheat. For example, like pretending to be a voter that he or she is not. And those measures include checking the ID cards and the folio with voters' photos and any other information on it to verify that they are who they claim to be. So anyone who attempts to vote illegally will be immediately arrested by the police.
You're right, Mr. Smart. Anyway, thanks for educating me why nobody can vote by cheating.
Anytime, Sunil. Anytime, man. Anytime.
For more information, contact the GCOM hotlines on 225-0277-9, 226-6557 or 223-9650 or visit www.gcom.org.gy. LGE is Monday, June 12.
Wash Bay operators, are you looking for that unique service to elevate your business? Well, come on down to your #1 industrial store, Sylvie's, and invest in an undercarriage pressure washer tool. That's right, impress your customers by now washing under their vehicles easy and efficiently with an undercarriage tool. We have in stock different types that offer a wider range of services and can increase your revenue without having to invest in expensive ramps. Your customers are going to leave satisfied. So what are you waiting for? If you can't make it to our 31 High and Hatfield Streets location, we can deliver in and around Georgetown. Give us a call on 227-6226 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 or visit our website sylviesonline.com. Sylvie's Industrial Solution, proudly serving Guyana for over 4 decades.
If you want real energy, just sing and if you got on too. Good source of iron for me and for you, make you feel like say you have energy for two. When you make a mad flex with you and your cool work late, I left the gym after 2. Vigatan tonic a the remedy for some man for sue. So sing and if you got on too. Vigatan. From your new energy you a defend. Just sing and if you got on 10. Strong up your body, drink and come again. Vigatan 2 are the remedy, my friend.
Vigatan 2, good source of vitamin and iron for you.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A board of inquiry is expected to be convened at the soonest to investigate the circumstances surrounding the fatal shooting of a soldier by his colleague during a row at an army base camp. In this Davina Samaru report, you will hear that the suspect discharged some 27 rounds in the direction of the victim, who reportedly had delivered the first blow in the fight.
At about 5 hours on Monday, a fight erupted between Private Tavon Damon and his colleague whilst they were on duty at the Ghana Defence Force Base Camp Stevenson, TIMEHRI, East Bank, Demerara. Preliminary investigations so far revealed that the 2 soldiers were performing security duties when they were embroiled in an argument over the opening of a gate. It was during this argument that Damon reportedly struck the suspect to his head with a magazine, thus causing him to sustain injuries. In retaliation, the suspect picked up a high-powered rifle and indiscriminately opened fire on Damon. Some 27 rounds were reportedly discharged, but only 2 struck the victim, causing him to collapse. Both men sought medical attention, but Damon later succumbed to his injuries whilst at the Diamond Hospital at around 7 hours 45. The GDF issued a statement noting that this incident is an isolated one and that it in no way reflects the overall discipline and professionalism of its ranks. Moreover, the force said a board of inquiry will be convened to investigate the circumstances that led to the fatal shooting of Private Damon. Meanwhile, the suspect, who is a lance corporal, is in police custody assisting with the investigations. Reporting for the evening news, Davina Samaru.
The sod was turned on Sunday for the construction of a multi-million-dollar modern school facility for persons with disabilities at Crane on the west coast of Demerara. The facility is being funded by the government of the United Arab Emirates to the tune of US 500,000 or 100 million Guyana dollars. More in this report.
The UAE Minister of State for International Cooperation, Reem Al-Hashimi, led a delegation to Guyana for a one-day visit to participate in the sod-turning ceremony on Sunday. She noted that the event was the highlight of her visit to Georgetown.
I'm joined by a delegation from the United Arab Emirates who have come to you in friendship and who have come to you in compassion and in love. And I'm so pleased, and perhaps this is the highlight of my visit, to be able to inaugurate a school that addresses those who are most vulnerable and most loving in our society, a school for young children and their families, so that we better understand how we can help them and grow with them and learn from them.
The UAE minister joined President Dr. Irfan Ali and First Lady Arya Ali for the official sod-turning ceremony. Addressing the gathering, Dr. Ali stated that the funding of this project is a gift of love from the UAE and a demonstration of the character, concern, and care of the Middle East nation for Guyana and its people.
Despite the miles that separate us, despite the cultural differences that separate us, despite the geographic separation, today we have seen the unification by a good act and an act in the interest of people and in service to humanity. An investment that came from a country that has continuously demonstrated its support for humanity.
President Ali further noted that his administration has an unwavering commitment towards enhancing the lives of persons living with different vulnerabilities, especially children.
Our little children who are differently able, they too must enjoy a good life. They too must enjoy a prosperous life. They too must be able to experience the joys of life in a comfortable environment, in an environment in which they're safe, in an environment in which they're protected, in an environment in which their parents can find the comfort of having their children there.
During her visit on Sunday, Minister Al-Hashimi and her delegation held engagements with President Ali and his cabinet members. The visiting officials also participated in a breakfast with local stakeholders at State House, where both the UAE minister and President Ali spoke about the importance of enhancing relations between the two nations. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
A BERBICE rice farmer was in the wee hours of Monday stabbed to death during an argument at Queenstown, Riverton, Quarantine BERBICE. Dead is 25-year-old Porsuram Ganpat of Well-Rank Dam, number 57 Village, Quarantine BERBICE. Police said on the day in question, at about 2:30 hours, the 18-year-old suspect and the victim were imbibing when a heated argument erupted between them. This led to a scuffle during which the teenager armed himself with a knife and dealt the victim several stabs about his body. Ganpat reportedly collapsed but was later picked up and taken to the Port Morant Public Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. The suspect, a laborer, was arrested and he is assisting with investigations. In another murder in BERBICE, 62-year-old Dharam Dio Singh was on Sunday evening killed by an occupant of the Dharmsala in Fort Kanji, New Amsterdam, BERBICE. Police stated that at about 21 hours, the suspect armed himself with a piece of wood, walked into the male ward of the facility, and confronted the victim. This led to a heated argument during which the suspect dealt several blows to the victim, thus causing him to sustain injuries. Singh was taken to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The Guyana Police Force on Monday issued wanted bulletins for Jamie Gani and Harold, also called Stewie, for questioning in relation to the murder of Guyana Defense Force Lieutenant Rondell Douglas. Police stated that Gani's last known address is Lot 59 Patterson, Turkine, Greater Georgetown, while Harold's is listed as Lillian Dal, East Coast Demerara. Rondell was shot and killed during the course of a robbery at Cul-de-sac Street, North Rheinfeldt, Georgetown on June 7, 2023. It was reported that on the night of the shooting, an identifiable male requested Douglas, who worked at a taxi base, to transport him to Georgetown. As Douglas reached the destination at Cul-de-sac Street, the passenger exited the car and was joined by an accomplice. They reportedly robbed Douglas and escaped with his Fielder wagon, but not before fatally shooting him. The police confirmed that the GDF rank was shot in his chest and head. Meanwhile, the motor car has since been recovered. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of the two men is asked to contact the police on 225-8196, 226-6978, 911, or the nearest police station. Both the Good Hope on the East Coast of Demerara and the Yarra Cabra Secondary on the Linden Highway are set to be fully completed by the end of this month. This was according to Education Minister Priya Manikchand. Tasia Dickinson has this story.
Yarra Cabra on the East Bank and Good Hope on the East Coast will finish by June month end. You wouldn't be able to imagine this. The children on the East Coast, at 6 schools, they're now sitting in hallways and under stairways of primary schools. They're high school children sitting in primary schools doing some kind of work with teachers who are not trained for secondary education. With the opening of Good Hope, I'm going to be able to close all the tops of those primary schools and put all the children in a discrete secondary school where they have facilities and teachers trained to teach secondary. And that's a big deal. It's a different type of education. Same thing with the East Bank, with the completion of Yarra Cabra.
The Education Minister, during a recent broadcast program, also stated that before the end of July, several other schools across the country are expected to be completed. These include Queen's College, Bishop's High School, St. Rose's, St. Winifred's, and East Rheinfeldt Secondary Schools. The Christchurch and St. George's Secondary Schools will finish early next year. The original contract to construct the Good Hope Secondary School was awarded in 2018 to BK International to the tune of over $4 million. Work commenced in October of that year, with the original completion date being January 14, 2020. Despite many extensions, the construction company was unable to deliver, and as such, a new contract was signed with Dean Plus Partners for over $2.6 million. Meanwhile, a contract totaling $790 million was awarded to Arbasu & Sons in 2021 for the construction of the Yarra Cabra Secondary School. The project was set to be completed within an 18-month period. Tasia Dickinson, The Evening News.
42-year-old Lekram Etwaru of Diamond New Housing Scheme, East Bank, Demerara, was on Sunday evening killed after colliding with a lorry along Nelson Mandela Avenue, Georgetown. Police stated that the now-dead man, who was riding a motorcycle, CH2546, reportedly jumped at the traffic light and collided with the motor lorry GDD 3729, which was at the time being driven by a 52-year-old resident of Erie Hall Public Road, Essequibo Coast. As a result of the collision, Etwaru fell onto the roadway, where he received injuries to his head and other parts of his body. He was picked up in an unconscious state and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A breathalyzer test was conducted on the driver of the motor lorry, but there were no traces of alcohol in his system. He remains in custody assisting with investigations. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Tuesday, June 13th at 1 hour for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the BERBICE River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Tuesday, June 13th at 13 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
Guyana confirmed to host 2 T20s between West Indies, India, and KFC Elite League. Guyana Police Force Western Tigers FC register wins. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Fuck off. The Oreos belong to us. No, they belong to whoever finds them first.
Transformers Limited Edition and
Place your bets during the matches and win up to $3 million per coupon with live betting. Check out all the different matches and bet types at www.superbet.gy. Superbet, your best bet. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions.
Come visit us on Waterloo Street.
Isuzu D-Max, built to work. Whether it's mining, construction, agriculture, or just adventure, Isuzu D-Max does the job. Put it to the test. Isuzu D-Max, engineered to keep every promise. Marex is the authorized dealer for all Isuzu products. Marex. Telephone 226-1482 and 226-1306.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.